Little town of Whiskerville, there was a peculiar mystery that had the entire town buzzing. The town's beloved cat, Mr. Whiskers, had gone missing. Mr. Whiskers wasn't just any cat, he was the town's unofficial mascot, known for his charming personality and penchant for appearing at the most unexpected moments. Children adored him, and adults found his antics amusing. One sunny morning, as Mrs. Thompson, the local baker, opened her shop, she noticed something was amiss. Mr. Whiskers, who usually lounged on her windowsill, was nowhere to be seen. She asked around, but no one had seen the furry feline since the previous evening. As the news of Mr. Whiskers' disappearance spread, the townspeople decided to take action. They organized a search party led by the town's amateur detective, Henry Puddles. Henry, a retired librarian with a keen eye for detail, took on the challenge with great enthusiasm. Henry's first stop was the town square, where he found a clue, a small, mysterious note that read, "Find me where the water flows and the lilies grow." Intrigued, Henry deduced that the note referred to the old fountain by the park, a place Mr. Whiskers frequented. When Henry arrived at the park, he noticed something unusual. The usually serene fountain area was bustling with birds chirping louder than usual. Among them was a particularly talkative parrot named Polly, who belonged to Old Man Jenkins, the local bird enthusiast. Polly was known for her knack for repeating conversations she overheard. Henry approached Polly and asked, "Polly, have you seen Mr. Whiskers?" Polly squawked and replied, "Mr. Whiskers, water lilies trouble." Henry pondered Polly's cryptic message. He looked around the fountain and noticed a trail of wet paw prints leading away from it. He followed the trail, which led him through the park and into the nearby woods. As Henry ventured deeper into the woods, he encountered an eccentric old woman named Matilda, who lived in a small cottage filled with herbs and potions. Matilda was known for her love of animals and her peculiar ways. Henry explained his mission, and Matilda nodded knowingly. "Ah, Mr. Whiskers," she said with a twinkle in her eye. "He's a curious one, always getting into something he shouldn't." Matilda handed Henry a small vial of potion and said, "This will help you see things from a different perspective. Use it wisely." Henry thanked Matilda and continued following the paw prints. Eventually, they led him to a hidden clearing with a small pond surrounded by blooming lilies. And there, sitting on a rock in the middle of the pond, was Mr. Whiskers, looking quite pleased with himself. Henry approached cautiously, realizing the rock was a bit too far to reach without getting wet. Remembering Matilda's potion, he decided to take a small sip. Instantly, his vision shifted, and he saw a series of stepping stones beneath the water's surface, invisible to the naked eye. With careful steps, Henry crossed the pond and reached Mr. Whiskers. The clever cat had discovered the hidden stepping stones and decided to make the pond his new lounging spot. Henry chuckled at Mr. Whiskers' ingenuity and gently picked him up. As Henry and Mr. Whiskers made their way back to town, they were greeted with cheers and applause. The town celebrated their return with a grand feast at Mrs. Thompson's bakery. Mr. Whiskers, now safely back in his favorite windowsill, seemed to have a glint of mischief in his eyes, as if planning his next adventure. And Henry, the town's hero, was content knowing that in Whiskerville, even the smallest mysteries could lead to the grandest adventures.